Yo, what's up everyone? Happy Saturday. In this video, we're going to take a look at the early slate. It's starting at 2 o'clock, 2:05 Eastern Time, and it is a pretty big slate. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game early slate. Starting off at pitcher, before we get started, if you could drop a like and subscribe, I would appreciate that. And you can check out the website down below. Starting off at pitcher, we have Giolito is the highest priced pitcher by far. Like, you have Giolito, then you have Zach Greinke at 10-1. And then you have Gibson, and then it kind of tails off here with Richards, Tehran. I'm going to go with Giolito. He's just pitching like he's been a completely different pitcher this season, especially as of late. He's had some huge games. He has at least 30 Draftkings points in 5 of his last 6 starts. And he has faced a couple of tough teams during that stretch. Well, he's faced like one really tough team in the Astros, and then he's faced a couple easier matchups here against the Royals and the Blue Jays, and it's another favorable matchup here against this Royals team that he has had a lot of success against this season. This is his 4th time facing this team, and he's put up 33, 14, and 29. He's just pitching really well. He gets a ton of strikeouts, especially as of late. He has at least 9 strikeouts in 3 straight starts. He's pitching very deep, not giving up many hits, not giving up many walks either. I like Giolito here at 11-2. And I'm going to pair him with Nick Pivetta at 8,800. So Pivetta looks like it's been looking really good since he's been called back up from AAA. In AAA, he was great. He was really good with the strikeouts. He had like a 12.2 K per 9. And we know Pivetta can rack up the strikeouts, and this Reds team does strike out a lot, especially against right-handed pitching. Pivetta can have a ton of success here, and at home, the Phillies are a decent favorite. Price tag on Pivetta is it's fair at 8,800 given the lack of pitching options we have, and he's been he definitely does not want to go back to AAA like you wouldn't expect anybody to. So he's been pitching. I expect him to continue to pitch well, and it is a favorable matchup here against this Reds team that, like I said, there are some heavy K hitters in the lineup, and Pivetta has massive upside. So I love Pivetta here to pair with Giolito. And then starting off at first base, I'm going to go with a platoon guy that I really like. And that's going to be Nunez again at 4,100. He's facing a lefty here in Valdez. He's jumping into the rotation because the Astros sent Corbin Martin down. But he's a lefty, and Nunez has been crushing lefties this season. Also, I like the fact that Nunez's price tag has come down a ton. He was over 5,000 for most of the last week, 5,000, high 4,000s. Now he's down to 4,100. He got over $1,000 price decrease, and he's still been very hot as of late with the home runs. And it's it's not as good a park to hit in like Baltimore, but Houston, it's supposed to be pretty nice hitting weather there. And Nunez just has some really good numbers against lefties. Like, he has hitting 289 against lefties with 7 bombs in just 76 at-bats. 303 ISO, 592 slugging percentage. I like him here at 4,100. Even though the Orioles have a pretty low total, I feel like if anybody's going to do some damage here, it's going to be Nunez. And he's at a very favorable price tag. Next up at third base, I like Travis Shaw. He's just too cheap at $2,400. He allows you to pay out for Giolito. He allows you to pay out for your second SP2. He's still given a chance. I mean, the Brewers are really invested in Shaw. They sent down Hira, who was hitting really well, back to AAA once Travis Shaw came off the IL, and he's been getting he's been getting a lot of playing time since he's been back, and it's a decent matchup here against Jordan Lyles. Where Lyles does struggle is against lefties. And the Brewers have one of the highest totals on this early slate. And at home, I expect Shaw to get back to some of his power ways really soon. Because I don't think, he's still in the prime of his career. He's coming off a huge season. I don't think he's going to tail off that quickly. But Lyles has given up a 278 batting average and a 478 slugging to lefties this season. And Travis Shaw has a lot of just raw power. He's coming off a 2018. I mean, he's only 29 years old. He's right in the part of his prime. He should start hitting the ball well soon, or else he just might have been a fluke year last season. This season, he's all 4 of his home runs have come against righties, which is a good sign. Last season, he belted 30 bombs against right-handed pitching. It was just outstanding. He had he had a 285 ISO and a 535 slugging percentage. It's just a great park to hit in, especially for lefties. And I feel like he's just way too cheap at $2,400. In the outfield, we go. First guy I'm going to talk about is going to be Nelson Cruz at $4,200. So Draftkings has Gregory Soto here as a projected pitcher. Nobody's really been confirmed yet for the Tigers, but if it's not going to be Soto, then they're probably going to go with like a bullpen game, and this Detroit bullpen is not very good. So I'll take a chance on Nelson Cruz at a pretty fair price tag at $4,200. He's been hitting a couple home runs. He went yard again, so he's been on a hot streak, 2 home runs in his last couple games. Just a ton of raw power. It's a good ballpark to hit in, and the Twins are just, they literally have one of the best offenses in baseball, best team in baseball record-wise. And I feel like Nelson Cruz can do some damage here at a favorable price at $4,200. And last but not least, I'm going to go with another Twin, and that's going to be Marwin Gonzalez. Is very cheap at just $3,600. I love the Twin stack today. Marwin Gonzalez has been hitting the ball really, really well as of late. He started off the season extremely slow, but I was picking on him early in the season, saying that it's going to be a couple weeks until his batting average climbs up to like 240 or 250, and now he's back to, he's hitting respectable 244. We'll see. Since April, he's been hitting the ball a lot better. I know he just had like a 4-hit game last night, so he's just red hot right now. And in baseball, you really want to target players that are hot, and it's definitely a spot that he can stay hot here against a bad Detroit pitching staff and bad bullpen. And Gonzalez is very cheap too, so this season, if it's going to be Soto, it's a good spot because he's hitting 304 against lefties this year. But since March and April, he hit 167 in March and April in 23 games. He hit 299 in May, and in June he's hitting 278. So he's just been hitting the ball so much better after his really bad first month. So he's up to speed. I really like Gonzalez here at $3,600. So those are 6 players that I like. Still have like $4,000 to fill it out for the early slate. I'll talk about some other teams that I didn't talk about, like this Rangers-A's game. We have 2. We don't know if Bassett's going to be pitching in this early slate or if it's going to be Blackburn. I think it will probably be Blackburn, as that's what some other sites have. But DraftKings has Bassett. But either way, if it's Blackburn, then you can look at a couple Rangers. I wouldn't mind them at all, like all the lefties. Guzman is cheap at $3,700. Odor is dirt cheap at $3,300. He's been really bad this season, but he still has power and speed. And if it's Blackburn, it's a really good spot to do some damage there. Asdrubal is cheap. Andrews is cheap. They're pretty cheap here, so I like the Rangers at home in Texas. And Mazzara, too, at just $4,100. I like him. And on the Oakland side, they're facing a rookie pitcher, rookie lefty that hasn't really pitched above Double-A. He has had some good stuff in the minor leagues, but like I said, he's making a huge jump from Double-A to the major leagues. A lefty against all these righties of the Oakland A's. I really want to target some of these A's, like I like Canna, Profar. Chapman's a little too expensive for me. Simeon leading off, I like him, and Pinder and Piscotty, who the other day was like 5% owned in double-ups, and was the reason we cashed in double-ups as he went yard later in the game. So those are some players I would consider from that game. This game here, the White Sox and Royals, don't have a ton of interest in really any team here. Definitely don't have any interest in the Royals. If you want to play some White Sox, I would probably look at like Garcia, Moncada, and Abreu, and maybe Anderson if you want to take a chance on the guy with a ton of stolen base upside. But not going to have a ton of interest in that game. Arizona and Toronto, I have some interest in the Diamondbacks here, especially some of the lefties. And even the righties too, as Sanchez has been bad to righties for his career. But a guy that sticks out is David Peralta, who's pretty cheap at $4,400. Like he's always been, I always expected to be one of the highest priced outfielders on the slate. But at $4,400, you're getting a good price tag on Peralta. So he's my favorite Diamondback, and then I'll probably go with I don't mind either one of the first basemen, Crone or Walker. They're both pretty cheap. The Phillies and the Reds. The Phillies have a pretty high total. And their hitters are cheap. Like I like Hernandez at 3,700 leading off. Kingery, he's been hitting the ball really well this season. Segura is only 3,900. Bruce is the hottest hitter on the Phillies by far. Maybe the hottest. He's been the hottest hitter in baseball the last 3 nights, last 3 games. And Harper too at 4,500. Here, Yankees and Cleveland. I don't have that much interest. I think the Yankees might be popular with their high total, but they're just a little too expensive. Like I don't want to pay over $5,000 for LeMahieu. You thought you could get a couple cheap games out of Didi before he's priced up, but he's up to 48. And Hicks is up to 47, so I'm not going to be having a lot of interest in the Yankees. Already talked about this game. I like the Twins a lot. Don't have a ton of interest here in the Braves or Marlins game. Here we have Pittsburgh and the Brewers. I have interest in the Brewers. Lefties against Jordan Lyles, so Moustakas, Yelich, Shaw, Thames, all stick out. Even Ben Gamel, if he's going to be in the lineup at 3,800, he seems like a decent play. And last but not least, Houston and Baltimore. I mentioned a couple Orioles. Well, I mentioned one Oriole that I like, and that's definitely going to be Nunez at first base. Hanser Alberto leading off at 3,300. I like him. Those are the 2 Orioles that I like, and maybe Keon Broxton facing a lefty at 3,400. Power and speed. And on the Astros, you can look to like anybody like Reddick, Fisher, Brantley, and Bregman. Top plays, and then Gurriel as well. The Astros will probably be popular today, so I don't mind like looking a different way in GPPs. But that's it. That's the picks that I like. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and good luck today.